Yo, still bills, what's the deal, man? Yo, I just was able to get off work today pretty early. Ain't nothing like getting off work early, man. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna get something to eat. Ain't no way it's only 11 o'clock. Anyways, peep game, man. We got to talk about something, man. This I haven't got to speak on it yet. There's a few videos that I've made. I ain't uploaded them yet. I'm gonna do that today, but I was in Chicago, as I said it in one of my, whatever video I made. I was in Chicago this past weekend. Me and my lovely wife went out there for our 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 26-year anniversary, like I thought. And so I wasn't able to catch the Canelo fight here and go, like, join people's live streams and all that, but we slid out to a bar and I was able to catch it there, man. First off, man, shout out to Golovkin, man. Shout out to Golovkin. For him to be 40 years old and still take the, absorb the same shots that Canelo has stopped, three out of his 4 168-pound bouts against, that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. And it wasn't like I'll get to that in a minute. He showed a world-class granite chin. Gotta salute him on that, man. And he was never fighting off of the back foot because he was really trying to regain his bearings up under him. But he was just, when you can't properly get out of the way of a shot and you're not comfortable enough to let a shot go, you back up and you try to reassess the situation on the entrance, you know what I'm saying, on the advancement. And he couldn't find that until the later rounds. He couldn't find that until the later rounds, round 10, round 9, round 10, and all that, man. So Canelo went in there and dominated this dude. There was a lot of people, man, this shit was boring. It was a boring ass fight. It was an ass whooping is never boring. I'm sorry. When you sit there, this was no different than what he did to Julio Cesar Chavez. This was no different from that fight before he fought Golovkin. I seen one person hold true to how boring that fight was, and that's my coach, who's Mexican. He literally fell asleep on my couch while we was watching that fight. I'm like, Coach, what you doing, dude? Coach was slumped watching that shit at the crib. But that's the only individual that I've heard have, a gripe with that fight because of how one-sided it was. I personally was expecting it. My prediction stuck, but it was topsy-turvy because I was expecting Golovkin to be a lot more, him offer more resistance early on in the fight as opposed to down the stretch. He got dominated in the first 8 rounds. He got dominated. And even the rounds that you could say he won, those were still competitive enough rounds to where you could say Canelo won those rounds. But it was weird because, where I thought he would be competitive at, he got dominated in. And when I thought he would get dominated in, he turned it into a competitive bout. I was like, okay, cool, whatever. It is what it is. But, Canelo didn't fight the best fight. He didn't fight the best fight. It wasn't a stellar performance. He didn't look like how he looked against Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders because he went in there with, a different mind state. I've been in here with this dude for 24 rounds. And he's consistently disrespected me. I want his head. I want to put a stamp on this trilogy right here. I want his head on my fucking walls. Plaque to my fucking wall. That's what I want for Golovkin. He didn't get that. That's what he went for, though. And he allegedly broke his hand in the process of him doing that, man. So it wasn't a smart fight. But what people are like, I'm seeing a lot of people saying he's done and this and that. And they're like, no. That's ridiculous, man. My coach was, man, he's done. I'm in the gym. He's done. Your boy is done. No, how? He knows Golovkin, you know what I'm saying? He went in there trying to off this dude's head. He didn't fight a smart, calculated fight. He went in there trying to outline this man in chalk. He didn't do it. And that's another thing people keep talking about, man. You couldn't knock out a 40-year-old old man. Golovkin isn't your average 40-year-old, man. Golovkin he's never been dropped in, even as an amateur. He probably hasn't even been dropped as a dude starting out. I don't know. He stood in front of Canelo for 24 rounds. Once he was the aggressor, the other 2 times he was forced to be on the back foot. But he never touched he was never even hurt. Canelo never hurt him like how Derevianchenko and Murata hurt him to the body. He never hurt him like that. You're not by, you know, I had to come off of that. Like, yeah, he gonna go in here and stop this dude. And it was, like I said before, Calex, shout out to Calex. He's the one who made the video saying that, no, the history is showing that he's not about to go in here and knock out no Golovkin. That's what made me switch my stance. But I thought he'd at least hit the canvas. Because I thought it'd be a lot more body work. But shit, man, why go to the body when everything you landing up top is landing? You dig? And everything was landing. The left, he started finding a home for the left hook early. Real early. But, you know, he did say he gassed out or whatever. And a lot of people feel that he's burnt out, which he could be. But I just think it was, he went for the kill right from round one. Because he said that, I'm going for the knockout right out the gate. He said that. Right out of round one, I'm going to off this man's head. He said that. And we saw, we saw that gas tank. We saw that fatigue set in. We saw that. So it could be a possibility that he is burned out. I think it is that, and it is also he went in there, he didn't fight smart. I thought going into this fight he should have fought the way that he plans on fighting Bivol in a rematch. You got to get into a groove to fight Bivol. You got to get into start formulating your game plan with how you are going to beat Bivol. Because going in there and trying to just debo Bivol is just, you know, as we saw from the last fight, it's not going to happen. You're not about to go in there and break Bivol down. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have to win a boxing match against Bivol. That's a game plan he should have started emulating or formulating in the now in this fight. I think that would have really bore good food from him because you're not going to knock Golovkin out. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen, man. But there's a lot of people saying that he should retire and this and that and the third and he's done. I'm like, how? Because he went 12 with Golovkin and couldn't stop him or hurt him. He's done. How much sense does that make? He went 12 with Golovkin, so he's done because he couldn't stop Golovkin, even though Golovkin is yet to be dropped. Out of, what, 400 fights? And he's a professional? It's just past ridiculous, man. How, you know, the narratives that these niggas try to form to discredit the man. I'm seeing people say, man, he should have fought some, you know, a more credible foe. I'm like, what credible foe are you talking about? I wasn't a fan of this fight to begin with. I wasn't mad at it, but I wasn't a fan of it. I'd much rather see him fight younger in their prime fighters. I want to see him fight Benavidez and Charlo and Andre. I want to see him fight them dudes. I really do. But I'm also not about to be fucked up in the conversation about it neither, man. Golovkin is far more accomplished than all of those fighters. Not to mention those same fighters that y'all are deeming as credible foes have been begging this man for a fight. Charlo was just online saying, yo, Canelo already beat your ass, come fight me. But if Charlo had got that fight, if Andre had got that fight, even if a David Benavidez had got that fight, y'all be jumping for joy over it. Don't sit here and denigrate that win because it's Canelo Alvarez. What's baffling to me is David Benavidez is getting praised, like he's being deemed, oh, he's this Mexican monster because of what he did to Lemieux. He gets praised for what he did to David Lemieux, but Canelo can't get praised for beating the dude who stopped Lemieux and took his belt from him. It's contradictory, man, and people just do not try to keep the same energy whatsoever, man. They don't give a fuck about logic. They don't care about that. All logic goes out of the window and ceases to exist when it comes to Canelo. Golovkin is too old for Canelo, but he's just perfect for Charlo and Andre. Benavidez gets credit for beating a dude that Golovkin beat years ago, and they're, you know, they're close to the same age. Like, what's the difference? It's sickening. It's sickening listening to you niggas sit up here trying to talk about this shit. It's ridiculous. Anything to take, oh man, he ain't the number, he need to retire. You know how many people I heard say he need to retire because he didn't look his best against Golovkin. He didn't go in there looking to fight a cerebral fight against Golovkin. He did not, and it showed. He didn't go in there trying to box Gennady Golovkin. He did not. And people don't want to be honest about it because it's a lot more comforting and soothing to say that he's washed up, he's done, he need to retire. People want to, they want to discredit this win for Canelo because it's more soothing to say he's cherry picking. But we want to sit here and say it's soothing to say that David Benavidez is this Mexican monster because he beat goddamn David Lemieux, who's old. He was just as old as Golovkin, if I'm not mistaken. It's soothing to say that. It's soothing to say that, but it's real uncomfortable to say that Golovkin beat this man 7-8 years ago and took his belt from him when he was in his prime. He was a better version of himself that he is in the now. So how do you denigrate one for beating the other and praise the other one? Like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. How is David Lemieux a more credible win for Benavidez than Golovkin is for Canelo? It just doesn't make sense, man. And y'all niggas don't even try to make it make sense. That's what's, gut-wrenching about it. It's just the energy that y'all refuse to keep and maintain, man. It's like, bro. It's ridiculous, man. And now we get, you get to the pay-per-view numbers and everything. And I'm not business savvy. I don't understand how numbers work. I won't even pretend that I do. I stay away from it. Because the business eventually supersede the greater good of whatever it is that you're trying to push, because you want to continue to circulate that dollar. So I don't get involved in it. But it's people saying that this pay-per-view was a flop because it didn't sell. Like you needed 900. You needed to hit 900K in America in order for it to not be a commercial flop. And I'm like, how? Like, it doesn't necessarily, like, that doesn't make sense. If there was a million it did. Someone's gonna have to thoroughly break this shit down for me. If it's 1 million pay-per-views sold, and you need to hit the 900,000 mark, I don't understand why you would need to hit it in the American market, because the zone is not even an American. It's an app, and its inception is not here. The zone is fairly new to America. It's fairly new. Like, the zone is what, 2018 when it came to America? 18, 19, 20, 21, 4 years old. The same age as my daughter. How is it that I just don't get how you need to, I'm like, why y'all keep relegating everything to America? Like, y'all are so prone on America. Look at everything that Eddie Hearn is doing. He's properly developing the UK boxing scene, turning these cats into global talents to where they're not just fighting at a domestic level. Now they can step up and go any and everywhere. This dude is doing shows all over the globe. He just had a successful pay-per-view with Anthony Joshua and Usyk and goddamn the AU. Look what he did for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. You are out of your mind if you don't think that what Eddie Hearn has been doing for women's boxing isn't the reason why Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields is going to be as big as it is, or not Katie Taylor, but Michaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgartner is going to be as big as it is. It's a reason why those fights are getting the buzz that it's getting, and that's all because of what Eddie Hearn has been doing for women's boxing. On top of doing shows, cross continent, what that man is doing, it isn't just about catering to America, but Americans don't leave a hood. They don't leave a hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you'd be surprised how many Europeans are as well traveled as they are. Like, we don't. Let me see. We got Canada to the north of us and Mexico to the south of us, man. You know how many of us haven't been to either or? We'd rather go kick it in Miami or go to LA or New York or something like that, or Texas or Chicago. We don't venture north, we don't venture south like that. I mean south across the border. You dig? So our minds are just relegated to this soil, this North American soil right here, while Europeans are, man, shit, that shit is right next door to us. We going right over there. We can drive over there to the next country. It ain't but a few hours away. That expands your mind when you go and you're able to go and you go into different countries and shit. You're immediately exposed to a completely new dialect, a complete new culture, different foods in the immediate. And that's a problem with Americans, dog. Like, yo, you niggas is really bugging. So my point is, why is it like I just don't? I get that it's all, man. Well, it did this domestically and it did this globally. All right, word. But how is it that this is a commercial flop if the marker for it to be a success was 900,000 and they sold 1 million worldwide? I'm not getting how this is. I need a better understanding of this, because it just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up. It's baffling. So that's all I'm saying. Tell me why this shit is a flop. Tell me why it's a commercial flop. What was a flop about it? Why is it a flop? And I don't know, man. It's confusing to me, man. So someone is gonna have to help me out with that. If someone did help me out on my Facebook page, one of my relos or whatever, but even then, it's like that isn't necessarily telling me how this is a commercial flop when he sold over 1 million. And allegedly, the majority of those buys came from this soil. Look, man, this shit is just getting ridiculous with the, the amount of hate that the dude is getting. I've heard a few people say that Canelo just need to go ahead and sit on down for about 2 years. No, you don't. You don't. You do not. You can sit down after you fight you fight the fighters. You fight Charlo, fight Andre, fight Benavidez. Go beat on them niggas and let somebody else permeate to the top, and then go deal with them. Or you can retire after you beat them up. But I don't think you should sit down for 2 years. I don't think you should sit down till September. You're in the middle of your prime. You're at your best. I think because you may not be the same when you come back from that hiatus. You need to stay active. You definitely need to stay active. You've doubled and tripled people's work rate. You don't need to be fighting 3 times a year. With somebody of your stature, you can chill for 2 years or 2 fights a year. That's more than enough. That's more than enough. And of course, somebody is gonna find something to say about that. These niggas be doing the most, boy. These niggas be doing the most. But yeah, man. You don't need to fight 2 or 3 times a year, man. 2 times a year is perfect. So all in all, man, all I'm saying is this. It's corny. You know what I'm saying? It was a successful pay-per-view. Motherfuckers was going out of their minds and say, yo, this ain't even a big fight. Ain't nobody interested in this fight. 19,000 at the gates. 19,000 in attendance. 19,000 and a half in attendance say opposite. And now you get 1 million views worldwide. That is... Just shut the fuck up about the dude, man. Just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. I need y'all to understand how big the Mexican population is up here in this country. And they have, they have a multitude of holidays that they celebrate that he is fighting on, which, it is more for, all right, cool, man. We celebrating Mexican Independence Day. What better way to celebrate Mexican Independence Day by ordering a Mexican fighter and watching him fight? It's smart. But y'all don't think outside y'all hood. Y'all don't think outside y'all demographic. And y'all think the world just, the sun sets on y'all ass. And that's why y'all niggas is stuck looking stupid a lot of the times. And I can't deal with y'all. I can't deal with a lot of you niggas. It's so comical and so easy for to be, to debunk the shit that y'all say. But shout out to Canelo. Shout out to Golovkin. Please do not sit down. I don't want to see you, because I'm a fan of your fights. I don't want to see you. I don't want to. Nah, bro. You need to be fighting. I want to see you fight. You don't need to sit down for 2 years. You don't need to wait until next September, a year from now, to fight again. You need to fight in May and then fight in September. You keep that up. Keep that up. Keep that up. And stay sharp and stay active. And just go on ahead and get your easy fights out the way with you know who, man. And that's pretty much all I got to say about it. But I'm going to give me something to eat, nigga. I'm starving, man. So y'all let me know what y'all think, bro. Deuces.